Have you ever heard anyone say that men today aren't what they used to be? That they are more tired, less active, and even more fragile? What if I told you there might be a biological reason for this? Today I'm going to show you a graph that shows the decline in testosterone levels over the last few decades. We'll discover why and what you can do to avoid being one of those figures. What is happening to men? Why is testosterone depleting over the last few decades? This graph was taken from the Testosterone Levels Decline website and compiles data from various population surveys that were conducted in the United States over the last few decades. It shows that from 1960 to 2020, there was a sharp reduction in the concentration of testosterone in men of the same age. And this decline was not small. Estimates indicate an annual decline of 1% since 1990. This is the equivalent of a 22-year-old man today having, on average, the same testosterone concentration as a 67-year-old man in the 2000s. The red dots on the graph represent data from various surveys that were conducted in these decades. The green dots represent data from the NHS, the largest American population health database. And the blue line shows a clear decline trend over the decades. This trend had already been highlighted in a 2007 publication in the International Journal of Endocrinology, which showed a 20% reduction in testosterone in 35-year-old men when comparing them in 1987 to 35-year-old men in 2004. But, after all, what explains this decline over the decades? Why does a man today have, without even knowing it, less testosterone than those who were born 30 years ago? Among the main factors we can highlight are modern lifestyle habits, including obesity. Excess body fat causes testosterone to be aromatized. The aromatization process occurs inside fat cells and is the conversion of testosterone. The conversion of testosterone into estrogen, the female hormone. This causes total and free testosterone concentrations to drop in these obese patients. In addition, a sedentary lifestyle and lack of physical activity lead to a reduction in hormonal stimulation, lower production, and lower expression of testosterone receptors in the muscles. We can also mention the increased exposure to substances called endocrine disruptors, such as BPA, bisphenol A, and other substances found in containers, plastics, and pesticides. These substances disrupt the hormonal balance of both men and women and may be responsible for a decline in testosterone over time. In addition, the modern diet, based on ultra-processed industrialized products rich in carbohydrates, sugars, and fats, replaces a healthy diet that should be rich in proteins, fruits, vegetables, and nutrients. Another important factor is the chronic stress associated with modern life and sleep deprivation. The lack of sleep causes you to produce less testosterone and activates an inflammatory pattern, producing more cortisol. Increased cortisol levels also inhibit digestion. Other habits, such as excessive alcohol consumption and smoking, can explain this decline in testosterone. Therefore, the modern man's body lives in an environment that constantly attacks his hormonal health. In view of this, younger patients are looking for hormonal therapies as an alternative way to increase their energy, improve their performance, and even their mood. The number of hormone prescriptions in the USA fell from 7.3 million in 2019 to 11 million in 2024, representing an increase of more than 60%. It is important to emphasize that, even though some patients report clinical improvements associated with this hormone replacement therapy, it can cause some risks, especially when misdirected and without medical supervision. Excessive use of testosterone in young people can complicate fertility, causing testicular atrophy and inhibiting endogenous testosterone production, which can be temporary or permanent. In addition, cardiovascular risks can arise, such as the increase of lipid profiles, increased cholesterol and triglycerides, systemic arterial hypertension, increased insulin resistance, and an increased risk of thrombosis due to blood thickening, resulting in an elevated hematocrit and hemoglobin. This can happen with the use of poorly controlled testosterone, but, after all, what can you do to protect your testosterone? How can you stay off this graph? Before we continue, everyone, I ask that you subscribe and activate notifications. 90% of the people who consume the channel are not subscribed, and this is important so that the channel continues to grow. And acquire the e-book, Guide to Dismantling and Neutralizing Female Ploys in Love. It is not just an e-book, but a survival manual for the modern man. Therefore, there are some habits to adopt in your daily life that can improve hormonal health, such as regular physical activity, weight training at least 4 times a week. It is crucial to activate large muscles, such as the quadriceps. Working the legs is crucial for men. Get at least 7 hours of uninterrupted sleep per night. The production of hormones occurs mainly at night, during these deep sleep cycles. This will improve hormonal health. Improve your diet. Eat real food. A diet with high protein, reduce sugar and fat, and prioritize fruits, vegetables, and greens. Eliminate habits such as excessive alcohol consumption and smoking. Also, avoid plastic packaging containing BPA, bisphenol A. Control factors such as chronic daily stress and anxiety. This greatly increases oxidative stress and raises levels of cortisol and adrenaline, impairing the production of endogenous testosterone in your body. In some cases, hormone replacement therapy can help, but always accompanied by a professional. And all of this applies to male personal development. To you who have made it this far, thank you very much. See you in the next video. Forward, warriors.